Okay, let's get started. Today's weekly town hall meeting, June 27th, 2022. Happy Monday, everybody. Today's agenda, projects and development updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. Bob, can you please start us off with project and development updates?
So this week we have a lot of major updates. But let me start with our usual list. The first and foremost, our usual culprit, Elk, is still there I think it's celebrating half year anniversary now. So there's no progress made on Elk in the previous week. On the Bitcoin deposit and withdraw, we have this was a community request to have a simpler documentation to allow Bitcoin deposit and withdraw. So we published this on 21st of June. I think in addition to this, we have been also inspecting our documents and fixing various 404s and other bugs which it was having. On the Dex UI, the production release still remains the same, and the major progress has been the Whale Vault integration. This has been completed now. We are awaiting a release. We'll have a release 0.80 this week with Whale Vault, and so that's a major update on the Dex UI. In addition to this, so here is our graphs showing the progress. So this week, as I indicated, we'll have a release, and there are quite a lot of items in the pre-release status. So next week, these charts will become a lot more better. On the next, we have around 30 items in pre-release status, which means we are yet to do a release. So we didn't do the release because our primary DevOps resource has been away. So this week we'll have a release, and this will push around 30 bug fixes as well as new features to next release. So here is our progress chart. Again, these charts will dramatically improve this week with the release, and we'll have a lot more items in the QA in the next couple of weeks. This is now integrated to the Dex UI and to the next. So this slide is just a placeholder with no additional information at this point. Okay, Dexport, we do have some very good news here. We have finally managed to complete the Ubuntu and macOS installers. So we currently have Windows 10, Ubuntu 22.04, and macOS, I believe it's 12.1 executables are fully working on mainnet. So we have a release available which has these three executables available. Anybody is welcome to download and test this. So we don't have any major outstanding issues on the Dexport. The only items which are pending are mostly the CA related, and we also need to clean up the repository, which has become our biggest repository right now. Okay, moving on to the blockchain updates. So we do have major news here. So we have the latest and the greatest release available. So I'll publish this next day, that is my morning time. So this will be release 1.5.18. This has a very large number of new features as well as bug fixes. And I think before moving on to the substrate-based system, this is going to be one of our largest releases. This will be ready in the next few hours. And the other progress is now that this release is done, we are completely focused on the Ethereum stance. We do also have some cleanup to do once the release is done. In addition to the blockchain release, we have also the Docker script, Peerplays in a box script updated, and it's ready. The documentation is also updated. So this new release will support two OS flavors, that is Ubuntu 2004 and 1804 LTS versions. There are going to be two different sets of documentation for these two OS flavors. So all this will be available in the next few hours. So here is a pretty good looking charts. So we have current milestone has been successfully completed. We have the progress report over the weeks. Since we had only a couple of issues, progress on this in terms of numbers looks pretty small. We do only have two new items raised, two new bugs, which are mostly to do with plugins. One is related to removing of the unused plugin, and another one is to fix a potential plugin. That's on the blockchain side, and appreciate everybody's hard work to get this release out the door. Trade Hands, the NFT component project. So we have the UI screens, and in addition to that, most of the work has been on handling the metadata related metadata object on the chain. And we also have a basic UI available on tradehands.peerplays.download. That's been the progress, and major focus was on the metadata handling and testing. We have some very good progress here. As we can see, the charts are looking pretty neat. Even though we have like very small items, small number of items, we have completed those successfully. On the Express NFT, there's no progress apart from how we've just cleaned up the milestones and they're generally on hold. We'll attempt to revisit this very soon. NFT Lottery. So this is a project which we had implemented as a demo for a collaborator. So what it does is the older EC5050's features were re-implemented using NFTs. Essentially, an ERC 1155 type NFTs were used for tickets. And in addition to the NFT support, we also had progressive lotteries and various other features which was requested by the multiple deployments. These features are readily available on the blockchain. We just need to get the UI working. So we had this UI available with us. We're just trying to get this operational again, so that this can be demonstrated, and for any potential leads, this can be used as a demonstration tool. The Python library. Here, the focus is, as we indicated in the previous week, the text support is lacking. So we are slowly bringing in support for text. This is essentially porting of BitShare's features. This is going on well. On the Bookie Pro and associated tools, so we finally have both Suite as well as Couch Potato working. So that we had completed last week. Now we also have the Bookie Pro working and available on Irona testnet. So the Couch Potato screenshot is available in the previous slide. The current Bookie Pro deployment on Irona testnet is available on this URL, bookie.peerplays.download. And a screenshot of the existing UI is also. So there are no major changes except for fixing some of the vulnerabilities. This is the Mint screenshot. The community is welcome to test this, and any feedbacks can be incorporated. I guess that all the major update. I just wanted to summarize the blockchain. So we'll have the release published via Telegram and Rocket Chat in the next few hours. Request everybody to update this, because this particular release will be disconnecting all the older zombie nodes and whatnot. And also this increases the stability by distributing the GPOS rewards in a better way. So requesting all the witnesses to review and update at the earliest. Thank you so much, and that's all for the day.
Thank you, Malcolm. Salah, marketing updates, please.
Thank you, Kelly. For the marketing update for the SWOT project on the product, stage 1 is being used to create materials. Stage 2, information finally provided by Jonathan. So we can move forward, and the teams are being briefed on the product and the forms to solicit the feedback, and then will be sent out this week. For the tutorials, we are advancing in terms of the witness documentation, creating tutorials for step-by-step to be witnesses, creating the notes, etc. And the team is working on getting the videos and also the content for it. And the design will be all under the peerplays.com. As for the employer branding, the employee spotlight and employee recognition is been ongoing. And for the release of the primer article, which will be released this week, like working in conjunction with Bobinson, we have created a primer giving the what, why, and importance of the new updates of the mainnet, and they will be available for testing and be released soon, to avoid the same issues we had at the end of the 2021 and the beginning of 2022. A more thorough follow-up will be done with the witnesses to ensure that there are no surprises. For the 3D graphic work for Peerplays, it's ongoing. And for the articles, for team is working on articles for product like Peerlink, Peerinfo, the sweeps, and all the products in order to show the features and advantage of the products. In terms of the creation of the post and graphics, the demo is working to acquire the imagery. The team is working to acquire the imagery and video of the working product like Bookie and 50/50 in order to create posts about this and create more awareness within the community. In terms of the performance for the last week, the analytics of the last week, we had around like 400 users with like all the traffic, including the direct, organic, etc. The bounce rate is still high, but we are working to improve the user experience of the site to get a better bounce rate. For the next slide, for the top pages, here are the top pages that bring in traffic, mainly the job posting pages and the articles that we are posting on the blog as well. And also why Peerplays is one of the pages that bring in traffic to the site. For the social media performance for the last week, the social media, we still getting good engagement in the YouTube channel based on the new project of reaction that is done by Jonathan. In terms of other social media like LinkedIn, we're still seeing really good growth in terms of followers. Twitter, compared to the week before, is a bit down, but we are still creating threads, and we will be trying to get to push more aggressive in terms of posting on both Twitter and Facebook. So this is a summary of the performance and marketing for the last week. Thank you.
Jonathan, collaboration update, please.
Thank you very much. So these are the collaboration updates for this past week. We had another call with Gaming Benefits Corp in relation to talking about the 50/50, which was a development Peerplays. We had a really good call where we talked about where that could be integrated into the new platform that they're working on that is designed to work with regulators. So there was some good progress on that. The only thing that was outstanding in relation to that was the ability to be able to connect the draws with members of various charitable organizations, because the target is to be able to do charities and for the members to be able to identify what charity they associate with. It makes it possible for being able to direct where the draw, 50% of the draw pot is supposed to go for being a charitable lotto. So we had some good discussions around that, and we will be following up on some of the feedback they gave us in the future. So that was good. Avalon Meta Labs with the Scenes community platform. Happy to say this weekend we actually got that all set up with private self-hosted setup. It took some effort, unfortunately, due to some technical issues, but we've now got that all sorted. So we are now going to be moving forward with configurations and integrating that into everyone's experience with Peerplays. In the future, as we move forward, the plan is to have authentication work directly with Peerplays and have other communication funnels work through Scenes in order to provide better governance to the Peerplays blockchain. This is in preparation so that as we move towards the substrate blockchain, blockchain stack, we'll be able to utilize the same kind of communication process so that when people utilize the proof of pulse consensus, then they'll be able to have a seamless type of experience compared to what we established today. So with Avalon Scene now on our purview, we're going to be putting more focus into that, I believe. And that's going to be something very exciting in terms of encouraging greater community growth. So those are the primary collaboration updates for this past week. Thank you very much.
On to questions, comments, thoughts. I did have one question that came in from the community. That question is for Jonathan. For how long can PDSA keep paying its employees and bills if the BTC price stays at this level?
To answer that question, so the current BTC price is certainly not going to stay the same forever. But in terms of where we're at and where the expectations are with price variations, we have been taking measures to look at staff that hasn't been producing as much as others. Unfortunately, under these kind of circumstances, we've had to tighten the belt, so to speak. With that, we are in a good position to be able to continue for a number of years now, at least for another 3 years, if BTC was to stay where it is today. The expectation, though, is that it's not going to stay where it is because this is a highly volatile asset and it is certainly going to fluctuate. But we are managing our resources carefully. Also, there is the possibility that there's going to be additional revenues available in the future where we are going to be entering into the substrate space. There's a potential that we may align for being able to gain further resources for the various communities going forward. If you've been following the various updates and how our overall strategy goes, you would know that there's going to be a sort of micro communities that are established, and each of these are going to have resources available to each of them to be able to govern themselves under Peerplays autonomous organizations. So with each of those, then the carrying forward of the various elements of the blockchain will then be dependent on how those go forward. The developers that we have on our team today that are working on Peerplays are certainly going to still be there, and will be able to continue to support and provide professional and experienced resources to those autonomous organizations. But it'll be ultimately up to those organizations to use whatever resources they want to use in carrying forward. So if they feel that the development is complete and all that needs to happen is marketing, they could do that. If they feel that they need more development to create additional features, they could also do that. But ultimately, PBSA as an organization will only continue to provide standards and support in that capacity as its intended mission is to do. So that's a bit of a long answer to a basic question, but it's also a complicated one because we are talking about Bitcoin. And that's it.
Anybody questions, comments, thoughts? And that ends today's meeting, June 27th, 2022. We'll see you all next Monday. Thank you.